Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of PODCAD. We are joined here with another painter, but even better, an illustrator. And we're here with Anush. She makes wonderful art. She makes really large paintings, larger than any illustration student has ever done before.
Really?
Ever.
Wow.
And you have a very excellent palette and style. It's an honor to have you here.
Which
Yeah.
we're going to dissect today.
Yes.
Ooh,
Yes.
That's nerve-wracking. Thank you. Thank you guys for having
Yeah.
me. It's very
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First of all, how was the rest of your GradX setup?
It was good. I stayed about till 9 p.m. yesterday.
Damn.
Still not fully done, but there's just like little finicky things to do.
What are you missing?
My name, for one. So like
That's
no one will
pretty
know.
important.
That's a big one, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
kind of like, maybe I shouldn't and just like have like a guessing game.
A guessing
you know?
game?
I don't know. But
Or, the high school day might come around. Someone might just put their name up there.
why not? You know?
Yeah.
Let the kids have
Pretty badass.
have the glory. But yeah, there's that, and then I was like contemplating labels and stuff, but
Mhm.
I do have two pieces that I still want to just adjust
Yeah.
and work on, because I'm like, we have time. I
I-
got it for the jury, so
I think my favorite thing about your setup is the animation with the
flip
horse.
book, yeah.
Yeah.
And at first I was just like, isn't this a little too high for kids to play with? And then you said that no, I don't want kids to touch this and ruin it. And I'm just
I
like,
mean,
you're a genius.
I've like done supply teaching, so I know children are like
Yeah.
insane sometimes.
Yeah.
No hate to kids.
It's
We all
kind
used
of
to be
like
kids, but
like a Sisyphean thing, you know? Like,
yeah,
Like,
like
they want to, but they can't. It's too far.
you
up.
have to be this tall to play with the toy.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like a carnival ride.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
tall to play.
I should have one of those hands, like yay tall.
If you can't reach, leave.
Yeah, but yeah, it was the main thing. So I'm like, it's a little finicky. It only goes one way, and I'm like, it could be broken. I should put a sign there. It's like fragile.
Yeah.
It's not a toy, but
And your thesis project is oriented around childhood and nostalgic. Perhaps you could touch upon that.
yeah, I'm a very nostalgic person, or at least I used to be. And honestly, it came about because I could not think of a different idea. I went through different ones, and it was like, I tend to work a little bit more, I guess, sensitively. That's what my prof was kind of like talking about, like, oh, your work is a little too sensitive. So it was just kind of finding a balance of like not being too sad, I guess, because I'm like, I like to work with more stronger themes and themes of like family or relationships and kind of like abuse in some ways. And yeah, I think it would be difficult with audiences because obviously GradX is like so many different types of people show up.
Yeah.
So that would have been a bit tricky. So I think nostalgia was like, it was nice because it's personal to me as well. And I have my own personal things that I see when I do it. But it was a challenge to make it not so like painterly, if that makes sense. Because I feel like my painting work and my illustration work are pretty different. And with illustration, you have to be kind of like symbolic and be a little bit more metaphor, like literal. Like you want to kind of explain it to people and have them understand, or at least that's what I feel like.
Yeah.
But with my paintings, I feel like I can be more ambiguous and have like a story, and people can kind of dissect that. So it was like an interesting thing to play around with through the thing. Like I felt there were many times where I was like, I want to quit. Like I can't do this anymore. And I'm sure most people going through GradX or any of the programs feel that way.
Oh yeah,
The people who don't want to quit, their projects look bad.
pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like the overconfidence can. I personally have never related to that because I feel like most of the times I'm like, oh, my art is so bad. I need to quit this or something. But yeah, it was nostalgia, symbolism, and trying to. Oh, it was also with senses because I was like, how do I do 10 things about nostalgia? Because I'm like, there's not. There's only so much you can do. So I was like, your senses obviously affect nostalgia in a really big way. And I feel like we all know there's the 5 main senses, but I did some research and there's apparently so much more. There's some random senses that make no sense. But I was like, it could be cool to try to play with those. So some of them I think might be a little bit more understandable, but I've had people be like, you need to put a label about your description so we know what's, your thesis about. And I'm like, oh, shoot, yeah. So
What sort of drew you towards exploring nostalgia in your work?
I feel like it's, again, like I had it, like for me growing up, like it was very hard kind of going through different changes. I didn't really go through any changes. I lived at my one house for like 20 years with a very like no clue about kind of the outside world. We were in Ajax and like a countryside and never really been in the city. Coming to OCAD was my first time being in Toronto by myself, or even just pretty much being in Toronto walking around. So like growing up in the kind of similar things, anytime something would change, I was like so reminiscent about the past. Be like, oh, if I can't move on, I'm like, I want to go back. So like I had a different relationship with nostalgia growing up than I do now. I feel like when I was little, I was like, I don't want to grow up anymore. I want to be a kid. And, you know, you want like old things to come back. But now I'm older and I'm just like, yeah, I think moving on is important and having change and like doing it. Like even with thesis, I'm like, at some points I was really connected with the art and I was like, yeah, like this is, you know, I'm putting my blood, sweat and tears. And then it would be like discouraging with some feedback during crits and I'd be like, oh, not everyone's responding. Like I told you about the skateboard.
Yes.
I love that piece. I love painting skateboards. That's something to me. I was like, it's the piece itself is about like your sense of balance and nostalgia. And I feel like skateboards are pretty nostalgic. You know?
Yeah.
I love painting skateboards too.
They
Yes.
carry a story, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And it was
Except
like
mine.
using, like using like an old skateboard that was like super broken up. And I painted like a lot of skateboards in high school. It was like one of the most fun things I did. And so yeah, I was like, there's different aspects of it that for me are very nostalgic. And yeah, I feel like.
Do you find, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, do you find that when looking back on memories, it's more so the longing for the memory or just like recalling a memory that's more joyful than like the actual experience? You know what I mean?
Because when you like go back to like
Yeah.
somewhere that you know you really wanted to or
Yeah.
played that game.
Well, there was like a
wanted
quote
to.
by Slavoj Žižek, who's like a modern day philosopher and with a runny nose.
And that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah, he said something in an interview about like, oh, the happiest moments in my life were never when they were happening, but years later when I remembered them.
Yeah, that's a really great quote. I'll steal that. Put that on my display now.
Do you find that's
I relate
correct?
to that a lot. I feel like the same thing's gonna happen because I've had so many miserable moments at OCAD where I'm like, I can't wait for this to be over. And then when it's over, I'm gonna be like, oh my God, I remember being in uni and like doing all this stuff and it's fun. No, I do that a lot. And I think that's why with some of my pieces, and this is also where the feedback was a bit annoying to get because I was like, they were like, no, make it a positive thing about nostalgia. Have positivity. And I'm like, but it's not always positive. It can be very damaging. And that's also the main idea where it's like you're stuck in the past because that's where I felt a lot. I'd be looking back at memories even though they weren't always that great. Like I had a point where I say it's the happiest time in my life. I had chickens and I was raising like a bunch of them. So cool. And it was like my favorite thing ever. I love them to bits. But like sometimes I look back and I'm like, oh, I wish I could go back. But then I remember I was like going through other stuff during that time and I wasn't always as happy as I remember I was. I just missed that feeling. So I think sometimes it's like, maybe you're nostalgic for the experience you wish you had in those moments because of the opportunities you had at the time.
Yeah.
You know, there's like so many things I wish I could go back and redo because I was like, why was I miserable? I could have had so much more fun.
I guess that's like romanticization of it though too, right? Like it's like hindsight 2020.
Exactly.
Obviously, if you could redo stuff, then there is so much that you would redo. But then, I guess it calls in the question too of like, how would that affect our nostalgia, right? Because like, I think like the positive stuff that you're nostalgic about, you're only nostalgic about it in a positive thing because the negative stuff happened to counteract or counterbalance those other memories, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's why it's like with some of them, I had like positive and negative aspects that I was trying to display. With like one of them was like sweet treats, the one where like this person's in a blanket and there's a bunch of like, it's a little hard to see, but the point of that one was to show like how your sense of taste had an aspect of nostalgia, and I feel like the most nostalgic thing about being a kid is like sweet treats, sugar, fast food. You had the ability to eat whatever you wanted and nothing happened. And it's a good thing, I think, if you have those sweet treats after, but like everyone has different experiences with food or different things. And it's like, I know for myself, having like no boundaries with foods when I was a kid made it really hard for me to like control, because obviously sugar is not the best for you, but it's like it's sugar, it's great.
You can't stop a kid from eating sugar.
Exactly. But I was talking to my prof and I was like, well, I don't want it to be the most positive message. I want it to be like, you can take out both. Like you might find comfort in sweet indulgences because it reminds you of your past, or people can have negative experiences where it's like you're hanging on to like that and you can't let go of like this relationship you had with certain things. So
I think
it's
something
just
fell.
everything okay? Yeah.
So good. I guess like that is a very interesting thing though, because I can definitely say like I have memories of eating way too much sugar and then just like feeling like I'd die. But I mean, I guess as negative as it was, there's still this sort of positive sort of like element to it, you know?
Yeah.
Have you thought about returning back to Ajax after to your childhood home, I guess?
So it's a bit of I still go back there because I grew up with like a giant family, not my immediate family, but like we had like 3 families living in the same house and we're all related. And it wasn't the greatest experience. So like people don't do that. Adults can't live in the same house together, you know?
Maybe even like a place of your own where you're outside of the city to maybe like set it off right. I still live around Ajax. I just moved a little bit ways away. So when I go back, I'll be so honest, it's like I don't feel much because it's like there's like I think when you have bad memories tied to certain things, you can't really like you're like, oh, what's shake them? Almost?
Yeah, or almost it's like you kind of disassociate from it. You're just like, oh, that happened.
Yeah.
And I think that's also why I was kind of interested in doing it, because my nostalgic experiences and my memories changed so much throughout the year because we just recently moved like last year, I think. So yeah, I was like, oh, I go back to my childhood home and I'm like, I see nothing. Like I have no memories of anything. But like if I saw like a certain toy that I played with, or like I went outside and I would like I have a lot more memories of being outside and like playing in our little area.
Digging a hole and finding something you buried like so long ago.
I had like a pocket knife when I was a kid that I was like obsessed with, and it was all rusty and it was old, and I can't remember where I put it. It's somewhere in our backyard, and I'm like, I want to find it so bad, but yeah, there's like those things. There's like these little things that you held on to as a kid, and you're just like, those bring back good memories.
What do you think is the strongest sense for nostalgia? You mentioned taste, but do you think that's the strongest one?
I think scientifically that's said to be the strongest taste, and I think your sense of hearing. And smell.
Smell.
Yeah. Your sense of smell is probably the strongest.
I mean, taste and smell are like linked too, right? Like there's such a correlation between the two. You can't really taste without smell. So.
Exactly. But I think for me also, when I listen to music, I have a big problem of like, I have a very hard time listening to new music or finding new music because I always just listen to stuff that I used to listen to when I was a kid. Yeah. And so like people will be like, do you know this artist? And I'm like, nope. I know like Fetty Wap, like that's who I know. And I'm like, from like 1,000 years ago.
Yeah, baby.
Exactly.
1738.
I do long for 2016 vibes, like I get that.
I mean, I was reading a thing recently, and they said it was a study. They basically concluded that the music that you listen to from like your like mid to late teens to your like early to mid 20s is like the music that you will always go back to in like later adulthood.
Yeah.
Unless you didn't listen to music.
Yeah, and then you just like listen to like
the train on the TTC.
But yeah, I guess like there's like definitely this sort of like play between like nostalgia is obviously like stuff that's past, but that's not to say that what you're like this right now could become something that's nostalgic. No.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off, but have any of your like recent illustrations been more about your present life, or maybe somewhere closer?
Like stuff that I did this year,
or just a little closer than, I guess, your childhood.
Well, after doing like the 10 pieces for thesis, I feel like it's just been bleeding into everything. So I'm like, you have to just keep thinking about it. I did do. I had a comic class with Fiona, which was really great, and
she's an amazing.
The best. And that story is so random. It's like about a fly who's trying to find a place to sleep in an apartment building that's like chaotic, and it just goes through all the different rooms, and there's like a couple fighting, and a girl shaving her hair, and some guy about to kill himself, and it's just like crazy things going on, and then. Yeah. The fly finds a place to sleep, and it's like this comforting room, and there's a little girl reading her book, and the fly goes by her ear, and it triggers the girl, and then she like swats it and dies at the end. So
wow,
the end. It was a quick little story, but I was like, that's probably the one thing I was like, this has nothing to do with my life. I'm not a fly, but I would like to be a fly on the wall. I think that would be a fun experience,
especially during the jurying process.
Yeah. Oh my God. I think you'd love to be the fly on the wall for that.
No, I'm more so curious on who they are.
Let's explain the jurying process before we get into it.
When you check your mail, you get a letter. It says jury duty. You've been called. Oh no! and then they bring you to OCAD.
The OCAD jury.
Yeah. Suddenly you have to pick an illustration. No, as of filming today is the jury day for
GradX 109.
It's all design or
design and art. It's all on the same day today.
Art and design are getting juried on who will be the medal winner. Nobody knows who the jury is. They kicked everybody out of this school.
Yeah, I got a very threatening email that said the 6th floor is tentatively closed until 2 p.m.
That's the word,
today.
Tentatively.
And I was like, damn. And the funniest line was at the bottom. It was like, if this is an emergency, please contact us immediately. And I was like, what kind of emergency would I need to be having to access the 6th floor?
I left my EpiPen
next
to the jury.
God.
Oh, gee, my EpiPen's in my locker on the 6th floor, and I'm in anaphylactic shock right now.
Yeah, I had a peanut.
So stupid.
Oh,
Are you looking forward to GradX? Like, how do you think people are going to perceive your work at GradX?
So to answer the first part, I am not really looking forward to at least the first day. I'm so nervous. Because I've never been, and people are like, there's so many people, and you're shoulder to shoulder, and I'm like, I get very claustrophobic, and it's just like there's going to be, I feel like it's just going to be very overwhelming with that many people, and like having to have conversation. I know like my social battery dies out pretty fast at times, but I'm also kind of excited because it's just like, I want to see everyone's display, because even I was up there today, and like there's still quite a bit of spots that are not filled up, so I'm excited to see the rest of the work, and just hang out with my friends. No one's that I know I think is coming the first day, because I've honestly told people, I'm like, just don't come, it's gonna be so busy. And none of them are like artsy people who are gonna actually appreciate and like stand there and be like, whoa, look at this cool work. Like they're gonna just, as selfish as they're going to be there for me, and then they're like, all right, we're out.
Yeah.
Are you going to stand there and, take all the compliments, or are you just going to be like part of the crowd?
Fly on the wall.
No, I'm like, maybe I'll do that.
Yeah.
You could like set up an iPad of you.
Yeah.
Either
virtual.
It's virtual?
Just be like, I got COVID, so I got to be at home.
That's pretty good.
Maybe that's a better idea. Just have a little, maybe those moving ones. And I'll just be wandering around on that. Yeah.
So nice to see you guys. My internet's cutting out. Bye.
Yeah, I'm in a bad conversation, and I'm just like.
Or no. Just record like yourself talking, explaining your thesis,
constantly.
And have it on
like
loop.
Nostalgia. Nostalgia.
Have, like,
Are you nostalgic?
Yeah.
Just like, yeah.
I asked you where the bathroom is.
They're like, aren't you the help?
GradX is going to be fine.
It'll be. I know it's gonna. I honestly do this where I'm like, I find it's a lot better. I have the lowest expectation for things, and I try. And then when I go, I'm like, this was actually great. and then I'm fine.
Yeah.
But if I'm excited for stuff and it's disappointing, then I'm like, I'm heartbroken. So it works. It's equaled out. It's helped me till now.
I've been mentally preparing for every possible situation.
Really?
Yes.
Are you practicing at home?
No, I'm just like I'm just been considering, what if like someone who doesn't like me from high school finds my setup and throws paint on it? What do I do? What do I do?
Are you gonna be manning your station or
as much as I can?
Okay.
Then
hopefully no one does that.
One of those royal guards. I'm just gonna stand there.
Yeah. See, like I guess like you're not from Toronto, right? Like you grew up outside of Toronto and stuff. Like so, I guess there's less of a fear of somebody that you know from Toronto coming, right? Like.
That's the thing. I'm like, people are like, my friends are coming, and I'm like, I'm begging my friends to come, like, because people also, they live so far out, the people that I know, and I'm like, I'm not gonna be like, yeah, you have to drive all the way down to Toronto. It's gonna be, I hate driving down to Toronto. It's the worst. So I'm like, I'll take pictures. I'll send it to them. I know like my cousins, the people that I'm closest to, they definitely want to come, and we're planning to come the second day as well, with the high school day, because I wanted to be there for watching my business cards, which everyone is warning us about. Like, they're gonna steal your business cards. I'm like, it's okay. They're not. But they're gonna come that day. And I also know like most of my cousins are very antisocial, so I took them to the Major Works gallery day, and they got bored within like the first 15, 20 minutes.
They were the subjects in your painting, right?
Yeah, my sister, my two cousins.
Was that the one we were at? No.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, at Artscape.
Very
yeah.
nice.
Yeah. But yeah, they got bored like within the first 20 minutes, and it's not even like bored. They're just like, okay. And then they were like, you do your thing. We're just gonna go chill downstairs. And it was also extremely hot in there, so
it was
like, fair.
Yeah.
I can't wait for my dad specifically to come to OCAD and just look at art, because it's.
Have you ever seen it or been to OCAD?
No.
Oh.
It's gonna be so out of his character.
Yeah.
Just
last time he was at an art show, though, he was like.
I took him. I took my dad to the AGO once to see the Leonard Cohen exhibit, because he's a fan, and then like we walk through like the contemporary galleries, and he just like stops. He's just like, Mark, be honest, is this art? Like,
that was my
cousin's a painter's tape, I could do that, It's just like, oh my God, Dad, you see, like this is the Bauhaus, He doesn't get it.
This is their thing.
That's why I'm like, my parents are not coming. They're just gonna be there, like, and I know they'll say stuff, and I'm gonna be like, the person who made it is right there. Stop.
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm like. That's also why I'm like my cousins. I'm just like, I took them to the AGO one time too, and they were like, this is bad, and I was like, guys, shut up, go away, do that some in the corner.
I am very, very afraid for my dad to come too, because he is like, he says what's on his mind, and I've actually been at like things with him and stuff where he's been like, what the fuck is this? Like, I wouldn't hang this in my house, and I'm like, you can't say that.
Put an inside thought.
Right there. Oh, Raw Arts was horrible with him. He came down, he was like, I've seen like maybe 3 tables here where I'd even consider talking to them, and I was like, okay, chill.
Yeah. Oh, another thing about my dad is just like it could be the AGO, especially the AGO. I took him to the AGO. He'll look at a painting and just be like. And just like, no, you can't fucking do that. Trying to get me kicked out or something. It's like every city, it doesn't matter what the hell it is.
Oh, I didn't even consider, because like my sunflower piece is still wet a little bit. Like not the main part, just the yellow, which someone told me it looked like snot, and I was like, you know what, fair, honestly, but I didn't think that maybe people, hopefully no one does, because if it smears, like you're gonna have oil paint on your fingers.
You just like, honestly, like, to be totally real with you and stuff, the only day where you actually got to worry about that is the high school day.
School day.
And you just have to stand there and like, as soon as someone starts to get close, you go, back up.
It's just my work.
Nope.
Yeah.
And I'd be very cautious with your crank too, because like
that's the main thing. Also,
high schoolers, believe me, they're like, it's not working, and then they're just gonna make it work.
Yeah.
What is this crank that we're speaking of? What crank?
I made like a little flip book.
So it has a.
It was. I didn't know how else to display it. It's supposed to be like handwritten, It's gonna be sold like that in the print shop, but to display it, like they were like, if you have any
like
gifts.
Black, like, okay, I might have seen it in the Adislate. No, I'm thinking.
No, that's different. You're thinking of somebody else.
It's like a GIF, I guess. And they were like, if you want to display it, you can use an iPad. And I was like, no. So bad. And then a friend told me that like someone had used this like little crank machine in another year, and I was like, oh, I need to find that. It was so hard to find. They have like $100, $200 ones on Etsy that don't even look that nice. And then I found this little art company in the US that like makes them, and it looks nice. I feel like it's like a more it looks like a childlike toy, which I kind of wanted to go for.
That's why you hung it so high, so the children can't play with it.
Exactly. Hopefully they'll just be like, oh, that's cool. It's a rectangle. And yeah, it's like a little crank, and then like it makes a nice noise, so it's just like flips. Yeah.
So did you make multiple editions of this book then?
Of the flip book? So I screen printed it, and do you mean like did I make different variations, or is it just
like how many copies?
Oh, of the actual flip book?
Yeah.
There's 15.
Damn.
Total.
Wow.
But so the first time I made it, I made like 10, I think, or 5. I can't remember. And then I sold a couple at like Print Expo, which was our class thing for thinking.
That's cool.
And I was mainly doing this. I was like, I need feedback, see if people even want this. And it's a little bit pricey, but thankfully people bought it. So
what's the price?
It's $40 because
That's
I screen
not pricey
printed
at all.
the book. I got these little gold things to put in the center, and I screen printed the packaging. So it's not. I think it should be more, but I'm like, people also like inflation, and you know, like I want it to be sold. You know, I'm not gonna be like.
I think like the beauty of something like Grad X though is that you can ask for a little bit more. You know, like some of the people that are coming to this are like loaded, like stinky rich. Like it's actually like disgusting how much wealth they have and how much they're willing to spend on art.
If they have labels, maybe I'll go in halfway and just like.
Because I was looking at some of the prices that people were pricing their paintings at, and there's some people selling their stuff for like $5,000 or $6,000.
Really?
Yeah, like.
Like Lakin here.
Yeah, like me.
Yeah.
Yeah, my thesis.
$5,000 or $6,000.
My roommate
So
told
let
me
him know.
a funny story. Like he was in sculpture and installation 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And they have like an exhibition after Grad X, and like he had one of his sculptures for sale, and then like this like kind of like, you know, like those like hip looking old dudes.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that they just
Curator,
like
collector,
you know, they just like they cry money.
Yeah.
You walk by and just like ask like, oh, how much is this sculpture? And he's just like $1,200, and he's just like, that's cheap, and then walk by. Didn't buy it.
Wow.
Fucking crazy.
It was so cheap you didn't want
It was so cheap you didn't want it. So it's just like, you know, you gotta kind of find that balance of, you know.
That's true. I mean, I can't put it for a couple grand, but I hope, because I know that I hope people ask for like the originals of that's actually on the Grad X wall, because I'm like, I'd love to get rid of that sunflower piece.
Yeah.
You know?
Speaking of the sunflower piece, OCAD decided that would be the picture they put
On the
for your
ad.
post.
Yes.
You got marketed.
How do you feel about that?
I didn't want that picture to be there initially, because at that point, I don't know why I brought it. I was like, this is my main piece. Everyone was like, you should put it in the center. It's your best piece. And I was like, okay, sure. But yeah, I saw the pictures of it, and I was like, oh, I don't really like how it's looking, because I wanted to tweak the little part that's coming out.
Yeah.
So I asked them, I was like, don't put it, and they use it as a front piece. And I was like, it's okay. I'm okay with that. It's fine. But I'm glad they put my major works painting. 'Cause that's the one that I know it's not for thesis. And they were kind of like, is this going to be at Grad X? And I was like, parts of it will.
It would be nice if it was
It would
at
be
Grad X.
nice if I could just put the entire thing there. But
Yeah.
it is what it is. So I was like, it's fine. It's okay.
How did you get that opportunity?
I just got emailed.
You just got emailed?
I avoided answering because I do this with everything, even with this. Like, this is a great opportunity. Obviously, I'm really glad. But immediately when I first get an offer, I'm like, my brain is like, I don't want to do it. This is scary.
Yeah.
So, but then I replied after, and I went in. I filled out the form, and I was like, okay.
Was the email from Julian Nunez?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Why are you fishing right now? You're actually like, you've got like a little hook there, and you're like trying.
No,
to,
I'm
like,
kidding. That's a
info.
guy who sends like the 50 emails.
Oh, for
about,
OPSEU?
Like, for OP.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, I was literally like a couple weeks ago, I was trying to like find an email for the GradX 109, whatever, like important dates and deadlines and stuff. And like it just you're da-dung, 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 and it was like 36 Julian emails about like upcoming meetings.
It's like, all right, send them all. Everyone.
Brutal.
Yeah. The maintenance emails always come, and I'm like excited. Oh, nope.
Are you excited not to have any more OCAD emails?
Honestly, yeah.
We never.
I think one thing that I get, like, I'm like, my favorite emails are seeing the submissions posted for my like grades.
Yeah.
I have not checked a single grade yet.
Why?
I'm nervous. I'm scared.
Oh. Okay.
I don't want to know how much my GPA fell.
That's really interesting.
Well you did?
I want to focus on the
so
positive.
Okay, that's fair. I used to be like that when I was younger. I used to be like, I need to get the best grades and da-da-da. And I think it's a good thing. I've just, now I'm like, oh, I got a 70?
Yeah, likewise, yeah.
I stopped,
as long as there's good feedback.
70 is pretty high.
Actually. I stopped caring about my GPA after first year when one of my profs like literally screwed me over. And then since then I was like, well, I'm not eligible for like distinction or anything, so why do I care about my GPA? Like,
What?
You could have been like Rocky though, you know, like
Climb up the ranks.
Yeah, climb up the ranks.
No, because once you have one like class below 60, you're done. Like that's
What
it.
if you have
That's
60
not
on the dot?
That's not true.
Then
You're
you're
done.
in.
You're
Wait,
done?
really?
Okay,
Yeah, you have to have all your classes have to be above or at, like your GPA has to be above a 70, and you need to have all your classes above 60 something. Like it's like you're like 69% is.
And you
like,
can't get a master's after that?
Yeah,
Or
of
that's
course
not
you
good?
can.
You can get your master's?
Of course you
Okay.
can,
Oh,
like-
because it's pay what you can. No, pay what you will.
pay what you want.
Yeah, pay what you want. That'd be nice. But
$1.
no, I don't want to check the Canvas submissions.
I would like
'cause
my
it's just
master's,
like
please.
Yeah.
I'm stressed out about GradX, and the last thing I need is like open. Let's see my grades, and just like ChatGPT detected on here, and just like, oh, no. You know what? I'm not graduating.
So none of them, like not even from. Did you check last semesters?
Yeah, of course I checked.
Okay.
I'm just,
Gotta make sure you're on track.
I just haven't checked for the final stuff for.
Okay.
Because it's just like I don't wanna know.
I'm sure it's good. I'm sure you're fine.
Ignorance is bliss.
Ignorance is
Yeah,
bliss, right?
well-
I'm happy right now. I don't want to just like read like, oh, okay, well.
I had like I had kind of similar experience where I was like the first year I was like, wow, grades don't make any sense here. I had a prof who I did a painting. I thought it was great. I was like, I followed the instructions, I did it, and I showed it to them, and the feedback was all positive. And then I got like a 70, and I was like, okay. And then I asked my prof, and I was like, can you please give me more feedback? Like if it's bad, and you're like, you know. And then she was like, I can't really increase your mark because OCAD wants us to start your grades at a lower and then increase it as you go, so it shows improvement. And I was like,
It's just like,
can you
what?
just
Is
give
this
I was
me
great. I
the
was already
grade?
good.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, yo, I'd be fine. Like, you know, just like allow me.
Yeah, but then the next assignment they gave me 100, and I was like, this
See,
seems
you improved,
passive aggressive, but
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
It's, I'll never understand their grading. It's partly because they grade on a bell curve.
Yeah.
Because if they have a bunch of students doing very, very well, and then like a bunch doing really, really shit, it makes the institution look terrible. So they like to like equalize everybody onto like
Yeah.
a curve.
It's a business.
It is a business. That's how they get funding
Yeah.
from the government, you know?
Yeah. But speaking of schools, you went to high school with Daniel Hubbard?
I did. He's pretty
Yes.
famous, right?
Most
Oh,
famous.
yeah. Most famous man. What's he like?
What's he like? Oh,
As we
You
haven't
ever
had
met
him
him?
on our show.
have I ever
2
met
times.
him? Oh, you know, I wish. I really wish I could get his autograph.
Yeah.
So amazing.
You're talking about
Hubs.
Hubs.
Yeah, we had him on
Do you know
twice.
his first name?
No,
Yeah,
it's
Hubs.
It's Hubs.
And
It's Hubs,
first
yeah.
name Hubs, last name Art.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I've known him since grade 1, actually.
Damn.
wow,
We go
Did
way
you teach
back.
him how to draw?
Yeah,
I
who
did
taught you?
actually.
Oh,
He did a
okay.
self-portrait of me in like grade 3, and he got in trouble from the teacher because it was like it looked great, to be
Yeah.
honest, but like he was doing like an actual kind of realistic face. But obviously you're kids, you're not like the most amazing.
Uh-huh.
And he kind of gave me like a weird head shape, and my teacher was like, "She doesn't look like that," and I was
Whoa,
like,
that was the moment.
You know,
that
it's
he's
the
like,
thing-
I'm gonna be Hubs Art.
That's how it started, you know.
That's how it
'Cause, like, he
started.
always has like weird head shapes. In
he's
his,
been like
his
crazy
figures.
talented
Yeah.
since since day one.
You've been crazy talented too. Don't gas him up. Gas
No,
yourself.
no. I had the. Well, those are high school, but like I'm talking about. We did like a stop motion. I wish I had the tape. I swear I had it.
Yeah.
We did like they used to have this thing where these like animation days where you would just do animation like stop motion the entire day.
Yeah.
And we had like little groups, and I remember it was a day to watch everyone's stuff. And this kid, like, he had a set design, he had like it was so good. And we got like little USBs of everyone's work, and I saved it for so long, and I can't find it.
It's next to the knife.
The pocket, somewhere in my backyard. I need to find it. But like, it was crazy good, and I was like, I'm never gonna be on his level, but you do you, kid.
So did you like attend like an art high school or something, or is it just like?
There is one in Oshawa, I think. It's called O'Neill, and we took a tour there, and I was like, I think Daniel wanted to go there, and when we went for that tour, it was like,
you're like, hell no, I ain't going anywhere
like
near
OCAD
Oshawa.
if it was more broke.
That's cool. Sorry.
Oh no, so we went to J. Clark though. It was it's not an art high school, but we had a very, very, very great design teacher who kind of like is the only reason I ended up going to OCAD, because he was like, he pulled me out of my English class and he's like, can you do this program for me? Like, just do it. It's like a Schism thing for design.
Oh, shout out.
Yeah, shout out. I did that too.
And I was like, oh, my parents don't want me to do this, because they were like, no, you need to be like a doctor or something.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, and he's like, don't tell your parents, just do it. You don't have to be an artist, just do my program. And I was like, okay, cool. And then I ended up like being in his class pretty much an entire semester for like.
Did you bully him?
My teacher?
Oh, I was talking about Dan.
Did I bully him? No, but it's like we fought a couple times.
Oh, wow.
Like, it's over paintbrushes because he doesn't clean his shit up. And I'm like, dude, I don't want to shit on him.
Sounds like him.
I saw your dynamic in the cutting room.
Yeah.
I mean, I was in
you were in the
print,
studio
the whole time. One time I was there every day.
Oh.
But yeah, I'd always see like I remember one time you said something about one of his t-shirts I was drawing or something. He was like, okay, like leave. You were like upsetting him. It was so good.
Well, I have to. You gotta humble him, you know.
Okay,
that's my position in his life. So, no, but I think he thinks I actually don't like his work, and I'm like, are you crazy? Like, I just do that with people I'm close to. I'm like, even my friends will be like, what do you think of this? And I'm like, it's bad, like as a joke. And then some people take it seriously, and I'm like, I was kidding. I was joking. Don't take it personally. But he's been talented, and I'm just there to humble him pretty much.
That's cool. You guys were collaborating in high school. I think in high school we were doing edibles and.
Oh yeah. We never collaborated once. Not even like drawing the same sketchbook.
Oh my god! Did you guys all go to the same high school?
No.
Okay, nice.
I went to the high school that had beef with their high school.
Oh.
So he was public enemy #1.
Wow. And now you guys are on a
public
podcast.
high school. We were Catholic high school.
Yeah.
Damn.
I was public. But yeah, this is a great segue though, as we know you're also a very talented artist and designer, and we'd love to look and talk about some of your work that we have selected here for display.
Yes, let's do
indeed.
it. Oh, wow.
This one
I've milked this piece
is
so much.
my favorite.
Thank you.
I saw it deconstructed at Northern Contemporary.
Yeah. This is probably my most liked painting that I've ever done, and honestly, it's one of the things that made me more confident in painting.
Yeah.
I love this piece too. I've been milking it for everything. They're like, can you submit something for a contest? I'm like, this one. It's been around now, so and it has like a nice personal message for me. My mom always says, she's like, why do you always look mad, or you make drawings of people who are angry or mean things? Like, we're doing the mural and it's like a crazy horse, and my mom's like, do a happy horse. And I showed her pictures of an actual happy horse, and it's like, if you've ever seen like a horse smiling and it's bad, and she's like, never mind. But I really had a lot of fun painting this.
How do you build your palettes?
Oh, my colors?
Yes.
I steal from people. No, I'm kidding. So this was like, first what I did with this one is a big reconstruction of like a bunch of reference images.
Right.
Usually how I used to paint is like I would try to get a reference picture that I could pretty much use to the T.
Yeah.
And I think that was holding me back a lot from actually being like creative. And so with this one, it's like the background is from Germany. The 2 cows are German cows. And then me and my sister were in our backyard when it was all dried up and shriveled. It looked really bad, but
That's an Ajax.
that's an Ajax, yeah.
We actually have a German cow expert in the room.
Yeah.
If you wanna come look at them, never mind.
Okay. But
Yeah.
colors, I think the scarves for this piece were a huge inspiration for the colors, because like it's pretty traditional thing to in our clothing, in our traditional Pakistan clothing, with like very intricate designs. But the main thing that I really wanted to do with this piece was like distort as much as I could, especially the background. And I feel like it's a little choppy. It's my first attempt at doing this, but it's a little choppy. But it was like, it was a good segue into like what I kind of wanted to end up doing. But yeah, I feel like with color palettes, I wish I could say like I make color studies and I do all the linears and the preliminary work, and no, I don't. I'm just going to go for it, and it's acrylic paint. So it was like really fun to just go over the colors. Like the sky part, I initially had the big block. That's not that one with the cows, but the one that's like on that figure.
Dark blue?
Yeah. It was purple at one point, and it was purple for my crit because this was for an assignment. And then when I went home, like one of the feedback was like, take the purple out. And I was like, okay. I changed it to blue, and I think it worked a lot better. But yeah, I think with acrylic, the fun thing is you can literally just keep layering over top as many times, and it gives like nice effects. So. And
I do see like the collage and how you piece it together is really cool.
Yeah.
How many separate canvases is that?
5. Yeah.
So it's like, really big.
So the one it's supposed to be me, but it's 18 by 24, that big one. And then there's the one with my sister, that's 12 by 12. The one with her hands is 9 by 12. Cows are 12 by 12.
Oh, I see.
So yeah, it's about like 18 by 33, I think.
Feet or inches?
Inches.
Jesus. Okay.
This is not that big. No.
It's like, God damn, that's a big painting.
No, this was like my first. And like the first couple years of taking painting classes, I avoided going on canvas because it was online. And they were like, you have to go 12 or 16 by 20. And I was like, no, I'm doing this on a piece of paper, and then I'm going to throw it out after. So I was like avoiding working on large canvases. And then for one of my classes, it was a final painting. And I did this giant one of my parents. And that's actually the first introduction of using like the scarf patterns, because my mom was like dressed in our traditional clothing. That painting is so bad, but it's kind of like it's like somewhere stuck in my old house. It's just rotting away. But that was like my first big painting, and I was like, I think I like this. I'm gonna do more of this. Yeah.
So for the process of this one, did you paint like each canvas individually and then piece them together, or were you kind of like putting them all together and then taking it apart as you painted?
So this one was like a bit chaotic, because first I was like, let me trace or do like the transfer technique of the reference image. I did that, and then I didn't do it dark enough, or I used like willow bark. And then when I went to do my like underpainting, I smeared like my brush over it, and all of it was going away. Like all of the willow bark was just, and I was like, oh, I shouldn't have used willow bark. And so I ended up just covering it, and then I redrew the entire thing just from scratch, which honestly I'm pretty proud of myself. Like I got most of the proportions and stuff right. But yeah, I have this like, instead of an easel at home, I have this like flat thing that kind of like I could tilt, and I just laid it perfectly fit almost, and I just laid all my canvases on that at
like
an
a
angle.
drafting table?
Yeah, exactly. And I just connected them and made sure they all connected, and then as I painted, like if it was the 18 by 24, I painted that separately, and then I would connect it to see like where can I do the colors. But like the figures and like the scarves and everything, they didn't need to be connected to paint that. So that's also another nice thing of doing it deconstructed. The main reason I did 5 canvases wasn't because I was like, oh, I want to be creative and do 5 canvases. It was because I had to commute with this, and I'm like, I'm not carrying. I'd never taken a giant canvas on the train.
Genius.
And then I was like, if it's in parts, I can put it in my little bag and I can carry it all at once.
Are they like wooden panels?
Yeah, they're wood panels. Yeah.
So I was gonna ask like how they like connect so well, but I guess like they're wooden panels. There wouldn't be any gaps.
Well, there actually is in the actual paint. This is a scan, and then like I did a little bit of editing. There's like the tiniest little gap. It's not like it's almost pretty much like this, but I like it better in that photo. I just could not find the photo for my life, so I was like, let me just send you guys this one.
This painting is currently in a courthouse.
Yeah, it's in the Ontario Court of Justice at Armory Street.
Yeah, so that's like right over there.
Yeah. Oh, is it? Oh my God! Then maybe I'll go look at it because I haven't seen it yet.
You're right where the jury is.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Maybe I'll go down and find out.
Yeah. So like on display in the lobby?
Final.
I don't know. They were supposed to send us pictures, because again, I don't come down to Toronto very much, and I like want to explore a bit more. But
is it open to the public?
Yeah, I think it should be like just somewhere where if you're not convicted
mob.
Or something.
If not, I'll just like break a window and get convicted.
Yeah, and then you'll see it.
Yeah, maybe
Officer, I'm just trying to see the painting.
Yeah.
Get arrested and you could see it for free.
Yeah, but
is it there permanently or?
No. It's just there for
There's a streetcar horn.
They want to see your painting.
Yeah, they want to see it.
Ticket.
It's just honestly, they haven't told us anything. I think it's there till June or July or something. But it was I dropped it off in like March or something like that.
And how did that come about? Like,
so it was actually I submitted it to this. They were having this call for submission for like a show on the 4th floor, and someone, her name is I can't remember her name, but something Sova. She's one of the profs on the 3rd floor for drawing and painting, and she emailed me like, I saw your painting and I'm doing a show at this Court of Justice place. Would you like to have your painting there? And I was like, sure. And money was involved, and I was like, cool, of course I'll do it. So yeah, we just had to package it up, and they took it there.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Let's see the next picture.
Yay, cassettes.
And this is part of GradX.
Yes, this is for thesis. This is also one of my favorites to make.
Are those the original illustrations on the wall?
No, so this is a Riso print. The one on the right is actually I had to reprint it because the colors are a bit dull, but I don't have a good picture of that. But this was it was Riso, and I did it. I probably did it in a very stupid way, but I drew the 2 separate layers, scanned them, and then just edited them. It was a bit challenging to line everything up because the idea for this is it folds perfectly and then it'll fit into a little cassette tape with the cassette inside. If I use regular bond paper, it works. If I use anything thicker, it's if you check the one on my GradX, it's kind of stuffed in there, popping out a bit. And I'm hoping it doesn't break the
Riso print machine just gave OCAD students an extra $200 on top of every project they do, because everything just comes out so much better.
Yeah. It just adds a nice texture to digital work.
Value.
Yeah.
It's the soy ink. It's just
it's
soy
Riso
ink.
Expert here.
Yeah. I mean, I've been doing Riso now for 4 years.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
It's definitely one of the easiest mediums to get into in printmaking because it's like a photocopier mashed with a screen.
Yeah.
I mean, you get it. You know how the drums work and stuff. But it's I don't know. There's something beautiful about it because it still gives off that handmade look.
Yeah,
But
it looks
also
very analog.
But it also looks, if you look at it close enough, you can tell that it's a digital image, which is very awesome.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's any other the thing that I love about Riso too, unlike screen printing, unless you're adding a bunch of screen base to your ink, you're never gonna get that transparency or that sort of translucency that you get from the soy ink layering.
Soylent ink.
Yeah. I agree.
Ah, there we go. That's
The mural.
Yeah, this is a process picture because it's not done yet.
Where is this?
Yeah.
This is in like the most hidden spot, so no one can see it, and it'll never ever.
This is on the 6th, right?
It's on 6th floor. There's a staircase that like.
Is it the yellow door staircase?
Yeah.
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 Whoa.
I've never been down that staircase. I've
No
always
one
seen it. I was
has.
like,
Where does it
go?
It goes to the 5th floor, and that's it.
No.
I thought it would like go out of the little cow or something.
Wait, is it the like red part?
No.
The red part is just like
it just goes
yeah.
it goes down to 5th floor. The red cow is the red stairwell. It's like emergency exit doors.
Oh.
That one's fun too. I've been in there once. What is the subject of the? This is the
I
horse.
actually want to ask. Oh yes, okay, it's a horse, right?
This is
You
the
can
horse.
see it.
Yeah, this is the
right
angry
now I see it,
horse.
yeah.
It's the angry horse that.
So work in progress, guys.
Yeah.
He's got them gold grills.
Once
Yeah, I'm doing this with
eyeball-
Rosalind and Bianca, two
And-
very talented artists.
And what's it for? Is it just like a?
It was a stupid idea at first because they were having a mural thing where they were like, submit if you want to do it, and they sent it super late, and they were just like, you have about a week to come up with an idea and send it to us if you want to do it. Honestly, I wasn't going to do it at first, but I really want to do murals after I graduate somehow. And I just like working large scale, obviously, so I just thought it'd be fun. And when they were supposed to let us know the next day, and they ended up letting us know like 2 days later. So I thought we didn't get it. Like I was like, okay, cool, we're not doing this. And then when I got it, I was like, yay! But now we actually have to do it. So I
When's
was
it
like,
have to be done by?
Before GradX. So
What? That's like 4 days from now.
yeah, I know. But like to be honest, like this is like there's a bit more progress to it now. This was I think yesterday or the day before, I can't remember. But it's not like it's honestly going a lot faster than I thought it would. We just wanted to get the base colors done, and now we're like just planning on going crazy and adding textures, adding like line work, and adding like just doing whatever now, because the idea was just get paint on it and just go crazy after. So we just want to make it look as insane as possible.
Foundation, composition, and add the detail.
Yeah, exactly. And
so there is now a new graffiti staircase that has been unlocked in OCAD.
yeah,
Is it
I mean they want
Putting
to. Yeah, they're like,
crescent it.
Is it staying up there after GradX, or is it kind of like?
oh yeah, their plan is we're like the founding fathers of this little thing, because we didn't know. I thought it was going to be in the yellow staircase, and I was like, I don't know how that's going to work, but they're just like they're planning on doing like installations every year, but they were pretty adamant that this is going to stay up, and they just want to keep building around it. That's why they wanted floating images, so that they could just have people go crazy and keep adding
It's
stuff.
funny. The last time OCAD said that the murals would be permanent, they took a nice bucket of yellow paint and painted over it. Like 3 decades worth of murals, yeah. In the yellow staircase.
Damn.
Cool. Let's look at the next
But I have faith for this one to stay. It's really pretty.
Mark, what was the guy who made the original horse animation?
Or horse film, Edward Muybridge.
What are your thoughts on that Edward Muybridge film that recently came out?
I haven't seen it,
What?
but I make horse things.
So is at any point does the horse lift all 4 legs off the ground or no?
Yeah, it should be like they're all tucked in. There should be a frame of that.
Shit, I just lost a bet.
Oh, wait, what?
No, that's how the
Art parlays.
that's how the first film happened. Was that these 2 rich guys had an argument about whether a horse lifts all 4 of its legs
When
off the
it's
ground at
running.
any point in
Yeah.
running. So they got Edward Muybridge, who was a photographer, to capture in series the motion of a horse running.
Yeah.
And then they put it together as a kind of animation.
You
Okay,
can see it the ROM.
I think I know what
Is
you
that
guys are
the wrong
talking about.
I've seen it there before. Like,
Rude.
this might be nostalgia, but I saw it
There
there
we go.
like
Thanks, Elmer.
probably like
did
15
you get
years
it?
ago.
Yeah. So this is what plays when you roll the box.
This is just like the 3 different textured paper that
It's
I
all
used.
screen printed.
Yeah, it's screen printed.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was.
How many layers?
So there's only 2 layers.
Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to keep that part simple, because what I did initially was I printed all 22 frames using the one arm machine.
Yeah.
And the tech told me that this was a very bad idea, and if I could just do like the one sequence of frames, that would be so much better. So the second pass I did it with just one pass. We're like doing one sequence at a time, because it's a loop, so it'll run twice and then it just keeps going. But yeah, this was for one of my thesis pieces, and it's called Mary Go On and On and On. Kind of like Mary
So cool.
Go. Yeah.
And all the horses change, like they're different horses.
I love like glitching effects and that kind of like weird.
Did you pull each frame individually, or did you have them all as like, say, a sequence and then cut it after?
Like, do you mean did I draw each frame?
Like when you were like printing, so we were screen printing it, was it like one piece of paper that had each frame on it, or did you print each frame individually?
No, so I had like the film, like I had 11.
Yeah.
So that's one sequence, just one page.
And then you just pulled it on the page.
Yeah, just pulled one, yeah.
Smart.
Lining it up was like a bit tricky the first time, but then it was pretty easy after, so
yeah.
I got it down. But yeah, I had a lot of fun making this piece as well. It was just nice to not do like a painting or like what I was doing for my other thesis pieces. I was like, I wanted to just do something very grueling for literally no reason at all. And yeah, I had a good response on this one, so that was nice.
Yeah. You've also done some digital animation as well, right?
Yeah.
In Mira, or is it Blender? I'm not sure. It was like a sync.
I did. Yeah. I did. I took a class for that actually, because honestly, animation is like I wanted to actually do animation rather than illustration, but I didn't really. The animation program
illustration
didn't
was too easy.
I'll just make it harder.
I honestly was like, what is illustration just drawing? Like, I wasn't really sure. And then the animation program didn't seem that promising here. So I was like, let me just do this. I actually initially for the portfolio day went for graphic design. I'm not a designer, so.
Yeah, thank God you didn't take graphic design.
Yeah, I'm really happy I didn't.
Or you would have taken his medal.
No, they would have been like, none of this is design work. What are you doing?
You would have just done what I did and been like, yeah, you know what, and stepped away from your faculty. Like, it's crushing. There's no.
I've heard some interesting things, which is unfortunate, but.
Unfortunately, we only have the
it's okay,
cropped photo.
Yes.
Do the cropped
There's some nice
one.
chickens in the fall.
There's chickens.
Yeah.
And this was your home in.
No. So this one I wanted to I couldn't really use my house because it wasn't the shape that I wanted to do it. We went to this old abandoned house somewhere in Whitby, and it's it was the coolest house ever. Yeah. It was, because we also did pick an artist for this to reference off of, and I chose Wes Anderson. And this house was symmetrical in every way. It had this really broken down barn in the back, and that's what this was. It's the barn. Yeah. And I just got my cousins and my siblings to pose, do some crazy things, gave them scarves, gave them some props. And yeah, it's a bit of there's some images of there's a German cow, there's a cow butt, which is going to be on my grad X. That's, so I just take little things, but the house is not my own. It's actually kind of more fitting because we did sort of grow up on a farmhouse situation. We had goats and chickens and dogs and stuff. It was great. But yeah, so it's a barn. It was the way that it looked exactly the way I wanted it. So I was like, this is perfect. But yeah.
That's really cool.
Lovely depth and texture.
Thank you. Yeah, this piece took a long time. I'm gonna be so honest, it's not fully done, and my plan is to just keep building on it and change it up a bit over the summer and do something interesting with it. What's
interesting is that your work does rely on putting these pieces together, so putting even more pieces into that would be really interesting to see. So look out for the gallery shows that you're going to be presenting at.
Yes.
Where can people find you, actually?
Yeah.
For gallery shows or
obviously Grad X.
Yes, come to that.
If only I knew whose display it is.
Yeah, if only the artist was smart enough to put their name.
Oh, I see how high that little crank box is now.
Yeah, I
don't think any kid's touching that.
Unless there's a 6-foot child.
Baron Trump shows up. Yeah, holy shit.
yeah, this is what's gonna be there. A little sneak peek, but
Super cool.
Yeah, and TCAF.
yes, I'm gonna be. Well, hopefully I'll be there. There's like a bit of an event going on that I also have to be at, so
Ooh.
timing wise. But I know my work will be there along with a bunch of other students, and yeah, that comic about a fly will hopefully be there. Yeah, so that'll be great.
Sell some zines.
Yeah, some zines and some books.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be cool. And I don't have anything like upcoming right now. I have dreams, so we'll
Dreams
see if
and
they
hopes.
come true.
Where can people find out about those dreams and hopes when they do happen?
My Instagram is probably the best place.
In the courthouse.
And the course.
In the court, you know what? I'm just
What?
gonna go camp out there now.
What's your Instagram?
My Instagram is ANART45M. It's
Good.
made in high school and has never changed.
Beauty. Magnificent. And thank you so much for coming on the
Why-
show.
oh.
But you know,
My goodness.
we heard that you need to work on a title for your or your name board for the project. So we brought a little gift for you.
Whoa. Oh my god, another skateboard.
That would look perfectly in your Braddock's boots. So
This is great. Oh my god, do I get to keep this?
that's a
Yes.
old,
It's
reliable.
yours.
Some
Yes.
Yeah.
This is Alex's
Gift to you.
nostalgia.
Alex's
Wow.
nostalgia.
Is
It
this
it
yours?
is sort of nostalgia, yeah.
my God.
I love painting skateboards, so I painted one to go to Montreal.
Yeah.
And the day I got there, it snapped. So I
Oh
was
my
like,
God.
oh my goodness! So I bought a studio deck, which is like a Montreal company, and that was the one I skated in Montreal. That was like my.
This would be so much more
Yeah.
meaningful than the board that I stole from my teacher, who like I don't.
Well,
even,
you can cover it up, put
I'll just
everything you
this,
want.
Oh, I'll just put this one instead. This is
Um,
great.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, no problem.
Now now I have to just learn how to actually skateboard because
Yeah.
everyone's like, "Are you a skater?" And I'm like, "I've tried. I've hurt myself every
Well,
time."
First,
so.
you need wheels.
I do
And
have.
then
I have
trucks
wheels at home.
and bearings and
Yeah, that's
hardware
true. And
skill
And
and
grease.
skill.
and grease.
Or wax.
And maybe a
And
helmet.
grease.
Hey, grease the spot.
Ankle grease.
For your hair, of course, because
Yeah.
every greasy skater lives in Toronto.
And vans.
And Vans.
Yeah.
And a
Well,
skate key.
Yeah.
The tool.
And a helmet, even though no one wears helmets when they skate. So
Knee
maybe not.
pads, elbow pads, wrist guards,
Baggy pants. Anyways.
key fob.
Yeah.
Huff.
Nicotine
hoodie,
addiction.
Nicotine addiction. Anyways.
Next time.
Nice time.
Yeah.
Thank you so much
Yeah.
for coming on
Yes,
the show.
thank you.
Thank you guys. This was very fun.
And best of luck for GradX and the final little bit that you have to do on this mural and setup.
Yes.
And yeah, everyone should come and check out
Yes.
the amazing work.
Yeah. Can't wait to see all your guys' stuff. Too.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Doesn't
Fingers
get
crossed.
torn
It'll
down
be
by
great.
the kids.
Okay. It'll be great.
Yeah,
Don't be
it'll be
nervous. It'll be great. And
Yeah.
check your grades. Do that.
Yes, yeah, check everybody. That goes for check your
Everybody
grades.
check your
Everybody check your
grades.
grades. They've been submitted now.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for watching. Take care, everyone.
And
have a
we'll
good
see you.
time.
Toodles.
Bye.
Easy.
Bye.
See ya.